6.3. Collect security process data. Crucial, because security is not just about setting up systems, but also about continuous monitoring and improvement. So this task is all about understanding how to collect and analyze both technical and administrative security data to maintain an effective security operation. Remember, the exam requires you to understand how different concepts connect and reinforce each other. So even if some things seem repetitive, it's designed to strengthen your understanding for the big day. And again, if I don't go deep enough, you know what to do. Use that prompt at the end. This task has 5 subtasks, which include 1. Account management. This covers the life cycle of user accounts from provisioning to deprovisioning to help ensure that proper access controls are maintained. 2. Management review and approval. Here the focus is on ensuring that security metrics, incident response plans, and risk management processes have the proper oversight from management. 3. Key performance and risk indicators. This subtask involves tracking security metrics like mean time to detect and mean time to respond to address the effectiveness of security operations. 4. Backup verification data. Ensuring that backups are successful and can be restored when needed is critical for data integrity and business continuity. And 5. Training and awareness. A well-trained staff is one of the best defenses against security incidents. This subtask focuses on tracking participation in training programs and maintaining the effectiveness of those initiatives. As we go through each of these subtasks, keep in mind that security concepts often overlap and reinforce each other. Alright, diving into 6.3.1, Account Management. This is a foundational area for security operations, and it's one you'll definitely see on your exam. Managing accounts is about ensuring the life cycle of every user, whether adding, modifying, or removing accounts, is tracked and monitored for security risks. Some key points you may want to remember. User provisioning and deprovisioning logs. You must collect and analyze data on creation, modification, and deletion of accounts. This helps ensure that we catch unauthorized activities like accounts being created or altered without proper authorization. Account rights and privilege auditing. Regularly reviewing access rights is critical to prevent privilege creep, where users accumulate more access than they need, which could lead to security breaches. Authentication monitoring. You'll be expected to understand how to monitor successful and failed login attempts, password changes, and multi-factor authentication events. This data helps identify potential compromises like brute force attacks. Account activity profiling. Analyzing user behavior helps establish a baseline of normal activity so you can identify anomalies that may signal misuse or account compromise. Compliance and policy adherence. It's important to track any policy violations, such as inactive accounts or password policy breaches. This ensures the organization remains compliant with both internal and external requirements. Remember, for the exam, you'll need to understand how these activities tie into the larger picture of managing risk and protecting our assets. 6.3.2 Management Review and Approval. This subtask emphasizes the role of leadership in ensuring that security efforts are aligned with the organization's overall risk management strategy. On the exam, you'll need to demonstrate an understanding of how security decisions are made and approved at the management level. And here's some things we want to focus on. A security metrics dashboard. Developing a dashboard that compiles key security metrics and KPIs allows management to review data-driven insights and make informed decisions on security investments and priorities. Incident response and breach notification approvals. This is about documenting the process for management to review and approve incident response plans, including deciding when to notify external parties in the event of a breach. Risk assessment and treatment plans. Management needs to review and approve risk assessment treatment plans and any acceptance of residual risk. This ensures the organization's approach aligns with the risk appetite. Policy and procedure sign-offs. It's critical to track when management approves security policies, procedures, and significant changes to the program. This creates an audit trail and ensures leadership accountability. Budget and resource allocation decisions. Finally, management's review and approval of security budget and resource allocation tie directly to security efforts for the organization's business priorities. For the exam, it's essential to understand how these activities ensure that security is not just an operational concern, but one that involves strategic oversight. This review process enables a top-down security approach, where leadership takes responsibility for ensuring that organizational security posture is both adequate and effective. And remember, this concept ties into other areas like risk management, compliance, and incident response. 6.3.3 Key Performance and Risk Indicators, KPIs and KRIs. These indicators help measure how effective your security program is and identifying potential risks before they become critical. The exam often tests your ability to evaluate and apply these metrics, so make sure you're comfortable with the key concepts here. That includes security incident metrics. KPIs such as mean time to detect and mean time to respond are vital metrics that measure how quickly your security team identifies and responds to incidents. KRIs might include the number of high-severity incidents that occur over time. Vulnerability management. Track KPIs like how fast vulnerabilities are remediated and patch coverage across all systems. KRIs can include the number of critical vulnerabilities that exist in your production environment. Access control effectiveness. Measure successful versus failed authentication attempts. You'll also want to look at KRIs like the number of dormant privileged accounts or accounts with excessive privileges. Security awareness and training. KPIs such as employee training competition rates and phishing test success rates are good indicators of how effective your training programs are. KRIs could focus on repeat offenders in security awareness exercises, which might signal weak points in your training efforts. Compliance and audit performance. KPIs might include how quickly audit findings are closed, while KRIs could include the number of repeat audit findings or compliance violations. These indicators are a way to ensure that your security controls are not only in place, but are working effectively. They also provide insight into areas that need improvement. For the exam, you'll be expected to demonstrate how KPIs and KRIs tie into risk management and operational effectiveness. 6.3.4 Backup verification data. Ensuring the integrity and availability of your data in case of incidents is critical for security, and this subtask will focus on verifying that your backup processes are reliable. On the exam, this could come up in the context of disaster recovery or incident response, so make sure you're familiar on how to approach this topic. Here are some main points. Backup completion status. You need to regularly collect and analyze data on whether backups completed successfully. This includes tracking error logs and completion times to ensure critical data is backed up as scheduled. Data integrity checks. It's not enough to just back up your data. You have to verify the integrity of the backup. This is done through checksums and more hash comparisons to confirm that backed up data hasn't been corrupted. Restoration testing logs. Periodically test your backups to ensure that they can be restored when needed. Maintain detailed logs of these tests, tracking success rates and time to restore. This will help identify any issues in the restoration process before a real incident occurs. Backup media health monitoring. Backups are only as reliable as the media they're stored on. Keep track of the health of your backup storage media, whether it's tapes or disks, and hopefully more and more it's the cloud. But if you still have local media, and many do, ensure that they're still functional and reliable. Encryption verification. Always verify that your backup data is encrypted, both in transit and at rest, to ensure sensitive information remains protected during the backup process. For the exam, the ability to verify backup integrity is key. The concept of trust but verify applies here, ensuring that not only backups being done, but that they can be relied upon when disaster strikes. 6.3.5 Training and Awareness. One of the most important aspects of security is ensuring that your team is well trained and aware of potential threats. Security is not just about technology. People are often the weakest link, and this subtask is focused on building strong, informed personnel. The exam places a strong emphasis on this, so understanding how to track and assess training effectiveness is crucial. Here are some key areas. Participation and completion rates. You need to track and analyze data in employee participation in security training programs. This includes tracking completion rates for mandatory courses and voluntary initiatives. This helps ensure that everyone is receiving the necessary training to maintain a secure environment. Assessment scores and knowledge retention. It's not enough to just complete the training. You need to evaluate how much employees are retaining. Follow-up tests and assessments can be used to measure long-term knowledge retention and highlight areas that require additional reinforcement. Phishing simulation results. Regular phishing simulations are a key way to gauge the effectiveness of awareness training. Collect data on click rates, reporting rates, and how these change over time to assess the progress of your phishing awareness efforts. Security incident correlation. Track how training completion correlates with actual security incidents and policy violations. This provides real-world feedback on how effective your training programs are and helps identify areas where additional focus might be needed. The goal of this subtask is to create a culture of security awareness where training is not just a checkbox, but an ongoing part of your organization's security posture. For the exam, you'll need to demonstrate how training impacts the overall security effectiveness and how to measure the impact in a meaningful way. 6.3.6 Disaster Recovery and Business Continuity. All right, let's dive into our final subtask here. On this exam, you're going to be expected to understand a lot of the processes and metrics that support effective recovery and continuity planning. Some key things to focus on: recovery time objective and recovery point objective. You need to collect and analyze data on how your recovery efforts meet the RTO and RPO targets during both tests and actual incidents. These metrics measure how quickly operations can be restored, RTO, and how much data loss is acceptable, RPO. Business impact analysis updates. Regularly update data on critical business processes, dependencies, and potential impacts from disruptions. This helps refine your business continuity strategies based on current business needs and the risks. DR/BC test results and lessons learned. It's important to document all DR and BC tests, tracking success rates, challenges encountered, and lessons learned. This data helps you continuously improve your recovery capabilities. Incident response and escalation efficiency. Track how quickly incidents are detected, escalated, and responded to during these DR/BC events. This helps pinpoint areas for improvement in your response procedures. Third-party and supply chain continuity data. Don't forget to track your key suppliers and partners' BCDR capabilities. Their ability to recover can directly impact your organization's recovery efforts, so it's important to collect data on their recovery time commitments and past performance. Understanding these processes and how they interconnect and contribute to the organization's resilience is essential for the exam. You'll need to demonstrate how data collection supports the ongoing effectiveness for both disaster recovery and business continuity planning. And as always, if you need more help, you've got that prompt at the end. All right, wrapping up task 6.3. Quick quick summary, we talked about account management. This ensures proper lifecycle management of user accounts as well as service accounts from creation to deprovisioning by collecting and analyzing account-related data to detect unauthorized activities and potential security breaches or holes, gaps. Management review and approval. This subtask involved maintaining comprehensive security metrics and tracking management sign-offs on risk assessments, policies, and budget decisions to ensure leadership is engaged in security oversight. Key performance and key risk indicators. These metrics allow you to monitor the effectiveness of your security measures and track potential risks such as incident response times, vulnerability management, and compliance performance. Backup verification data, ensuring the reliability of our backups and testing restoration processes regularly guarantees that critical data can be recovered when needed. Training and awareness, measuring employee participation in security, as well as correlating training with real-world incidents helps maintain a secure, aware culture. And disaster recovery and business continuity ensures that recovery objectives are met during incidents and highlights the importance of regular testing and refining your plans. Remember, security concepts are interconnected, so if it seems like repetition, I hope it's reinforcing and broadening your knowledge there. All right, let's move on and give it a try. I hope at this point you've also learned you're going to argue with these guys, right? We talked about it before that sometimes, in any practice test, there's going to be, I don't agree with that answer. But here you have the luxury of being able to argue with them. But not only that, we've got other LLMs, right? So if you don't like what ChatGPT had to say, you can go over to Gemini and go, do you agree with this answer? So I highly encourage you to do that. I always try to show at least 3 in my classes, and so sometimes you can get 2 of them against one and go, I know you think so, ChatGPT, but Claude and Gemini both think you're wrong. All right, have fun. I'll see you in the next module, 6.4.